This message comes from Sony Pictures Classics. How do three friends who dream big stay old friends? Merrily We Roll Along from Stephen Sondheim and Maria Friedman, starring Jonathan Groff, Daniel Radcliffe, and Lindsay Mendez. Only in theaters starting December 5th.
Hey everyone, you're listening to Code Switch from NPR. I'm B.A. Parker, and today we want to talk to you about Alice Wong. She was a disability activist and author who had a larger-than-life reputation. She died on November 14th at the age of 51. Here she is on WBUR's Here and Now in 2016.
People with disabilities are seen as this kind of vulnerable, we can't bully them, we got to protect them. And I feel like there's also another aspect that, people with disabilities can speak for themselves, can defend themselves. We just need to kind of listen to them.
To get more into Alice's life and legacy, I'm going to bring on NPR correspondent Elissa Nadworny. Hi, Elissa.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here with you.
So, Elissa, after Alice Wong died, I heard you have a really beautiful conversation about her that I heard on Here and Now. And when I listened to it, I thought, I just have to hear more.
Yeah, I think the original segment that aired was about 5.5 minutes, and there's only 2 questions.
That's okay.
Yeah, it was just beautiful. Like, I talked with her really good friend who's also a disability and social justice organizer named Yomi Young. And she told me about Alice's legacy and kind of, all these accolades that she got. She was a MacArthur Fellow. That's like the Genius Grant. She founded the Disability Visibility Project. She partnered with StoryCorps, where you kind of interview regular people. Mm-hmm. She did a disability version so that there would be kind of these first-person oral histories in their community. So she talked about all her accolades and then really she just talked about her as a friend, which I really loved.
Yeah, and what did Yomi tell you about Alice that struck you most?
Kind of the way she described Alice is how I think I want to be remembered. She described her in these small details that are kind of like what life is about, like what friendship is about. And that felt really real. Parker, have you thought about how you want to be remembered?
No. I don't know. I'm happy to be here for now.
I don't know. I guess I think that hearing kind of like these legacy interviews or even reading obituaries, it just makes me think about how I want to live.
Yeah.
It gives you kind of this bigger perspective on what's important in life and kind of how you impact other people. And that's really what your legacy is. It helps me be reasonable about what my goals are.
That is valid. That is so fair. Yeah, don't put too much pressure on yourself. I'm sure, Alice wasn't here, each day, I'm going to make an impact.
Yeah, exactly. She was just being a person who baked brownies and wore great lipstick.
A word. Her lipstick always struck me. I'm like, that's a lady who knows her vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
It's incredibly lovely. We'll listen to more of that after the break.
This message comes from Whole Foods Market. Make every holiday party shine with Whole Foods Market. Hosting? Stock up on their Wallet Happy 365 brand with appetizers like walnut honey shrimp and breaded calamari. Plus, save now on crowd-pleasing bone-in spiral-cut ham with no antibiotics ever. For dessert, check out limited-time treats like their holiday rum cake. With so many ways to save on festive spreads all month long, shop Whole Foods Market today. Terms apply.
This message comes from AT&T. AT&T believes that hearing a voice can change everything. Whether it's a favorite podcast, a saved voicemail, or a call with someone close, familiar voices can bring connection and comfort. This holiday season, AT&T encourages the sharing of voices through a call, a voicemail, or a voice note because every conversation can create lasting connections. Happy holidays from AT&T. Connecting changes everything. This message comes from Greenlight. Parents say financial literacy is the hardest life skill to teach. Greenlight's debit card and money app for families makes it easy for kids to learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. Start today, risk-free at greenlight.com/NPR. This message comes from Schwab. Everyone has moments when they could have done better. Same goes for where you invest. Level up and invest smarter with Schwab. Get market insights, education, and human help when you need it.
This message comes from Vital Farms, who works with small American farms to bring you pasture-raised eggs. Farmer Tanner Pace describes what makes a pasture-raised egg unique.
Before we first started with Vital Farms, I thought, an egg's an egg, not a big deal, but it's hard for me to even eat an egg that's not a Vital Farm egg. Now, Vital Farms eggs are usually brown to lighter brown in color. And when you crack a pasture-raised egg, you have to hit it harder than what a person thinks just because the shell quality is so good. And basically when that egg cracks in the skillet or bowl, that yolk is almost kind of an orange shade. And that is part of what I love about a Vital egg is just the shade of yolk. I love pasture-raised eggs because you can see the work and the pride that the farmers have and have put into these eggs.
To learn more about how Vital Farms farmers care for their hens, visit vitalfarms.com.
Elissa, you spoke with Yomi Young about the life and legacy of disability activist Alice Wong. So I'm going to let you get into that.
Let's do it. So, if someone unfamiliar wants to get to know Alice, where should they start?
Alice talked a lot about mixtapes. We're both Gen X, right? So we come from a generation where we made mixtapes for our friends. So there's the mixtape, right, or the playlist, and then there's the deep cuts. So I think the Alice Wong starter kit, before you get to the deep cuts, you should probably get to know Alice. And I would start with reading her memoir, Year of the Tiger. It is wonderful. It's witty. You get a good sense of Alice's personality and all of the background and the history and the experiences that made her the public figure that she was. And then from there, I think I would definitely check out the Disability Visibility Project, and I would do rush to like her and follow her on social media. And then I would look at the Low and Slow series that she wrote for eater.org, because you'll get a good sense of not necessarily Alice the activist, but Alice the foodie, because food was her other passion.
Tell me a little bit about your relationship. How did she come into your life?
I met Alice in community, meaning we were both involved in Bay Area disability politics. She was a policy nerd emerging from graduate school at UCSF, and I was directing the Center for Independent Living in Berkeley. But we became friends and comrades when she interviewed me for StoryCorps. It was the first time she and I had talked at length, one-on-one, and in the intimacy of that recording booth, we realized we are kindred. And from that point until I said goodbye to her last week, we plotted and organized and played together. I'll say that without a doubt, my friendship with Alice is one of the most life-affirming relationships I've ever experienced. She became a godmother to my daughter.
Wow.
And was a central part of our village.
Alice's family shared a quote from her 2022 memoir, Year of the Tiger, on social media, and it really touched me, and I'd love to get your reaction to it. It says, quote, "The real gift any person can give is a web of connective tissue. If we love fiercely, our ancestors live among and speak to us through these incandescent filaments, glowing from the warmth of memories." Yomi, what does that quote from Alice mean to you?
That quote, I think, is illustrative of Alice's belief system. Alice believed that she would become an ancestor, and she believed in ancestral reverence. And Alice believed, as I believe, that we cannot be separated from those we love, not even by death. They live in and through us and with us. that what Alice leaves in her wake and in her leaving it transcends really the limits of being human. Her work will go on. Those of us who care for her and those of us maybe who've never met her but who were influenced and changed by her will continue her work. And I think this is what she was alluding to. She was giving us hope in a time of sorrow and grief, which we are all feeling right now, and instruction for ways that we will carry on and carry her work. And in true Alice fashion, she left very detailed plans of what to do with and for her after her death.
Alice Wong brought her advocacy to the nation's capital. She served on the National Council of Disability from 2013 to 2015. What current issues was she most passionate about that she would want you to draw attention to?
Alice's magic was in her ability to skillfully use technology and social media to build community and challenge structural oppression. She cared about many, many things. And I would say most recently, she spoke a lot about her terror of losing Medicare benefits, which is a fear that millions of sick and chronically ill people are dealing with right now. And also, because she was a policy wonk and she understood systems, she was able to connect the dots between the lived disabled experience and all other experiences of oppression. For example, Alice called the situation in Gaza a disability justice issue and organized to raise millions to help Palestinians maintain digital connection to the rest of the world. She spoke up for Palestine at tremendous personal and professional risk. She did what was right, and she wielded her power and her privilege for the good. And I don't think we will see another like her in my lifetime.
I wonder how did winning the MacArthur Genius Grant last year change her life and her work?
It elevated her platform. It elevated her status. I think it brought the name and the work of Alice Wong to people who are not necessarily connected to social justice movement or disability experience. It was a tremendous honor. She was humbled by it, so deserving for the breadth and body and depth of what she's given to community and what she's built. For Alice, I think it brought opportunities. It also brought a level of visibility that she, I think, was very careful about. As I said, she spoke out for Palestinians, and some people were not happy about that. And there were people who challenged or voiced that maybe her Genius grant should be rescinded. And Alice stood firm, and she was unflinching, and she would not back down. But what was lovely about that is, Alice never talked about that when she was with her friends. Alice was known by friends and those of us in the Bay Area for throwing really elegant parties. Like super elegant. Alice lived in a really beautiful apartment in San Francisco. She was able to move out of her family home and live independently for the first time for the last couple of years. And she really flourished socially during that period. It's the elegant dinner parties. It's that you could catch Alice taking in cultural events and just moving about around the Bay Area in ways that she hadn't done in a number of years. I might have lost track of your question, but I think this is what's wonderful.
Going to be
missed.
At the end of the day, she was your friend. This is what you'll remember about her.
Absolutely. And this is what I will miss. It's not, Alice the luminary, Alice the MacArthur genius, whatever that means. We kind of teased about that. But it's Alice the gorgeous, generous friend. It's the signature red Chanel lip. It is her bouginess. It is her tenderness. It is the way that she practiced care. It's the brownies that she brought to my house a few weeks ago so that we could decorate pumpkins with my daughter. It is the unexpected packages you would receive from Alice. And it's not just me. People all over the country and the world who Alice connected with, some who she'd never met, would receive an Alice Wong care package. It's just the generosity of spirit, of the exchange of ideas. Alice was my peer, and it feels like many of our generation with disabilities are not seeing old age. And it's a lonely feeling, and it's scary, and it's also, for me, it's precious, holding on to these relationships and just having had this friendship with Alice, to live in the time of Alice Wong and to have experienced her camaraderie, her trust, her care, and her friendship was truly amazing.
How can we honor Alice going forward?
I think we can honor Alice by speaking truth to power. For the disabled community specifically, it's to continue to share our stories, to understand that we deserve everything that we desire, that we should take up space, that we should understand that we are very powerful collectively, and we should not yield that power. And to get involved in organizations and causes that you care about, because they need our wisdom. They need our experience. If we are to build the world that Alice imagined, a more just and fair world, it will require all of us. And I would say just keep pushing. Alice wrote her own death announcement. And the kicker to that death announcement was, "Don't let the bastards grind you down." I think I'm quoting that correctly. And I would say, don't let them grind you down.
Yomi Young is a disability and social justice organizer, helping us remember activist and author Alice Wong. Yomi, thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thank you so much for remembering Alice.
And that's our show. You can follow us on Instagram at NPR Code Switch. If email is more your thing, ours is codeswitch@npr.org. And subscribe to the podcast on the NPR app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also subscribe to the Code Switch newsletter by going to npr.org/Code Switch newsletter. And just a reminder that signing up for Code Switch Plus is a great way to support our show and public media. And you'll get to listen to every episode sponsor-free. So please go find out more at plus.npr.org/codeswitch. A version of this interview originally aired on NPR and WBUR's Here and Now. It was produced by Ashley Locke and edited by Mark Navin. This episode is produced by Xavier Lopez and Janet Ujung Lee. It was edited by Dahlia Murtada. And a big shout out to the rest of the Code Switch Massive: Christina Kala, Jess Kung, Leah Danella, Verlin Williams, and Jean Demby. I'm B.A. Parker.
And I'm Elissa Nadworny.
Hydrate.
Support for NPR and the following message come from HomeServe. It never happens at a good time. The pipe bursts at midnight. The heater quits on the coldest night. Good thing HomeServe's hotline is available 24/7. Call to schedule a repair and a local pro will be on their way. trusted by millions. For plans starting at $4.99 a month, go to homeserve.com. Not available everywhere. Most plans range between $4.99 to $11.99 a month your first year. Terms apply on covered repairs.
This message comes from Donors Choose. Donors Choose connects public school teachers with donors to fund classroom needs, including school supplies like books and art supplies. Donate now at donorschoose.org/local. This message comes from NPR sponsor eBay, who is home to millions of parts for your next project and free returns. If it doesn't fit or it isn't what you expected, eBay has your back. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay. Things people love.